The Florida Keys is a barrier reef. It is basically the third largest in the world, and it stretches from north of Key Largo all the way down to Key West. We have over 500 different species of fish that live in our coral reefs.
They're home to probably as much biodiversity as a tropical rainforest, and home to species we haven't even discovered yet.
And the charge and the energy that it brings to you as you're descending upon these wrecks is just incredible.
It's so interesting, but spooky at the same time, looking at a man-made object underwater.
Educate these divers where when they leave, they have a new sense of why sharks are important and how they can become involved to help protect them.
It was a perfect day. There was zero current. The viz was 200 feet. It was absolutely flat, calm. It just went down without a hitch.
We needed to get ahead of it and rescue some of those corals. Make sure that we protected them, created a bit of a Noah's Ark, if you will, of those corals, because we were watching that disease just burn through our reef.
We want the corals to grow faster, to be more resilient, so we can catch up with the climate change that is ongoing.
I have every confidence that we can buy corals time to persist into the future.
We still have a planet that's tremendously bursting with life, and we still have a chance to maintain that.
An impressive shipwreck with a fantastic history is located off the coast of Key West. It's an iconic backdrop to amazing marine life. Big Pine Key is also home to spectacular reefs, including Lou Key. She's been called the monster of Key West diving trips.
Well, it's 523 feet long. It's about 71 feet wide at its widest point.
Built in 1943, this mighty ship launched that same year. Massive in size, she was capable of speeds upwards of 17 knots.
It was originally built in World War II as a troop carrier, and it was named the General Harry S. Taylor. And it provided supplies and American soldiers to the European theater during World War II. I believe that it was on its way to the Pacific Theater when they dropped the bomb, and so that at that point it headed back to New York.
In 1961, she was retrofitted and became the property of the United States Air Force. Renamed the General Hoyt's Vandenberg, she served as a missile range instrumentation ship. Her mission? Tracking and analyzing the re-entry of ballistic missiles. In the last years of her career, she tracked missiles and spacecraft re-entering the atmosphere until 1983. In May of 2009, the ship was given a new purpose, but this time underwater. The Vandenberg became the second largest artificial reef in the world when she was sunk off Key West. It took only 1 minute and 44 seconds for her to go down.
It was a perfect day. There was zero current. The viz was 200 feet. It was absolutely flat, calm. They had cutting charges. So when they sank it, they basically, ignited those cutting charges and allowed the water to flow in and the air to escape, because there's a lot of openings on the inside also. And it just went down without a hitch. I did get to go down like an hour or so later and check it out. It was spectacular, but it went down without a hitch. I think it's pretty much exactly where they expected it to be.
But work leading up to the Vandenberg sinking was arduous.
It had to be cleaned. They had to remove any kind of environmental hazards. And there's, military ship. I mean, they use whatever they need to use to make it happen. So it had to be totally cleaned. All the doors were removed. And it was being worked on in Virginia. It definitely put Key West on the map as far as some place to come and dive. We do have other deep wrecks, but they're, like the USS Curb, the Wilkes-Barre, there's a submarine, there's an airplane, but they're all, 200 feet plus, 300, 400 feet. So the average diver, you know, is really just, the Vandenberg is suited for your average diver and above.
After being scrubbed clean and sunk, Pekarik found a new mission, and that was to find a precious treasure that was hidden on the Vandenberg.
This coin is a real piece of 8 from the Etosha, and it was put on the Vandenberg shortly after it went down in 2009, and it was put down by Pat Klein, one of the original treasure hunters that worked with Mel Fisher. So when I finally did find out about it, I started researching it and gathering up all the clues I could. I got a hold of Pat Klein. He said I didn't have all the clues and told me where to go to find them online. And then I started diving it. And it took about 30, maybe 40 dives before I finally found it. It was up high, you couldn't see it. You had to reach into an opening in one of the bulkheads. There were a bunch of pipes were running through, and it was actually just down below, on like a shelf below the pipes. And I found it on the first dive that day, and I was swimming around looking for my friends, and they knew I'd found it because, you know, of how excited I was.
The Vandenberg, massive, majestic, and with a long history of service to our country. Now she rests on the bottom of the ocean, just off Key West, Florida. Here, divers have the unique opportunity to explore this regal ship.
It's just massive, and having the number of dives I have on it, I'm never bored going down. I have people that come from all over the country, even other countries, you know, to dive with me every year, and they come back all the time, and they just can't wait to get on the Vandenberg.
Known as being some of the best wreck scuba diving in the Florida Keys, the Vandenberg offers something for everyone. She accommodates all levels of divers. There's always something to explore. In the lower Keys, the Vandenberg is as exciting a dive as that of the Spiegel Grove in Key Largo.
It's spectacular, and it was totally made for diving. You can bring people down that are relatively new divers and show them around, and then I have people come down that are tech divers, and we go through the engine room and other places on the wreck. You know, if I've got people that have never done this before, they're inexperienced divers, yeah, are we going to do swim through? Sure, but you know, we're going to swim through an opening, and then there's the other side right there is an opening, or right around the corner is another opening. But you don't even have to go inside the wreck because, you know, some of the best stuff is actually on the outside. We generally try to hook up on top of the wheelhouse. In the first dive, I'll take them down out to the bow, back, and then through the wheelhouse. Maybe if we have a little time, come back and then finish our dive in the wheelhouse and then back up.
So the wheelhouse is a big
fabulous. There's lots of easy swim throughs. Gotcha. And then the same thing in the back. There's some nice swim throughs in back here. There's a wood shop here. There's some swim throughs through this superstructure. Just below the main deck, at about 100 feet is where the deck is at. Just below that is like a wood shop, because there's a table saw down there, and then some other, you know, wood shop type equipment. Just below that is the piston room, where there's 2 gigantic pistons which move the rudder. You can actually swim along where the drive shaft is at 140 feet, and if you're not worried about going further. In other words, if you're tech trained and stuff, there's compartments of the engine room you can swim along, come up, swim through the freshwater storage room. Every year it changes, like there's more growth, there's, coral formations here, there's more fish, more resident fish. As the wreck ages, the satellite dishes have basically, they're aluminum. They've just started dissolving in the water due to electrolysis and corrosion. This sign here, I put a Duval Street sign on the wreck every year. And this one here I took off a couple months ago, and I put a new one on, and I promised this one to Terry Johnson. She's the mayor of Key West. I just need to get a hold of her and give it to her. There's always a resident moray eel at the deck machinery and at the bow, for like raising and lowering the anchors. There's always lionfish there. There's always like a resident Goliath. At least one, that's right in the beginning of the dive before the divers scare him off. He's usually swimming around by the bow. It's just spectacular. We've had turtle follow us around on our dives. There's bait balls periodically on it, and then of course, you know, whatever kind of fish that are feeding on the bait balls, they'll be there. There's resident barracudas, there's octopus on the wreck. I mean, just anything that you're gonna find on the reef, you're gonna find on the Vandenberg. It's one of the world's largest artificial reefs. People that work for the dive shops in Key West are passionate about diving. They care about the ecosystem. They care about the people that are coming on the boat. We're always concerned for everybody's safety, and we want everybody to have a good time, not only underwater, but you know, we want to have a good time once they get back and they're in Key West, and we want them to come back. In my opinion, it's the best wreck dive on the eastern coast of the United States, if not the whole United States.
Right. What's typically the feedback you get from people after they've done this dive?
People come up generally saying that's the best dive of my life, and I love to hear that, and it makes me want to go back and do it all over again.
The Vandenberg may be known for some of the most spectacular artificial reef diving in the area, but some of the true treasures are the coral reefs off Big Pine Key.
The reefs down here, super easy to dive, tons of marine life to see, and lots of opportunities for growth and building up your skill level as well.
Located south of Big Pine Key is Lukey, a protected coral reef. It has been named in the top 10 diving sites for the past 10 years. Approximately 200 yards long and 800 yards wide, Lukey can accommodate all levels of divers and snorkelers. An abundance of shallow areas makes this area one of the best snorkel experiences in the Keys. And for more experienced divers, there's a steep descent to approximately 100 feet. Here, you'll come across barrel sponges, perhaps even rare black coral. And don't be surprised if you come face to face with larger fish.
If you're gonna be in the Florida Keys at all, you don't wanna miss out on Lukey. Lukey is one of the oldest protected spots in the Florida Keys, and we get everything out there. I've been out there with students and had eagle rays right in front of me, turtles, octopus, everybody loves a cephalopod. I've seen just so many spectacular things. Goliath grouper love to hang out underneath our boat. The marine life and the marine diversity in Lukey is spectacular.
We have 2 coral nurseries off of Lukey. We're growing coral, and when that coral reaches a big enough size, we go out and we outplant it on the reef. One of the things that we're doing now is what we call a vern, and it's made out of rope. And so what we do is we take, after we frag the coral to a particular size, we open up the rope, we stick it in there, and then we float it up to the surface. And when it grows, we can take the whole vern, all 25 feet of it, with anywhere from 20 to 30 corals on it, and plant it at one time. So we're excited about what we're seeing on the reef.
Being a protected area, both marine life and corals are given a chance to thrive. The size of these corals will astound you.
There's a big field out at Lukey of elkhorn coral. Now, elkhorn coral lends itself to getting destroyed by hurricanes because it sits on the top of the reef. The waves come down, they break the elkhorn. And because of the water temperatures over the last 20 years heating up, it's been hard for the elkhorn to regrow. But we're having a lot of success at Lukey. Both planting and natural growth is coming.
But it hasn't been easy.
The corals didn't spawn for 2 years because of the stress that Irma put them through. But now those corals that are healthy and have survived are spawning and they're growing. We're seeing fields, small fields of elkhorn from spawn growing. Now, corals, at least in the Keys, and usually worldwide, only spawn once a year, and it depends on the time of year. Our corals spawn on the full moon week in August, so we get a lot of scientists here to come down and kill it. We've actually collected spawn, taken it back to the laboratory, grown the coral in the lab, and taken it out and outplanted it.
Over the past 39 years, the Florida Keys has hosted a one-of-a-kind undersea concert to spotlight Reef Protect while entertaining divers and snorkelers. The concert is held at Looe Key, an area of the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary.
It is extremely unique, and that's why we get calls from all around the world with people that have questions about it. It brings attention to our area. Unlike any other event that we have down here in the Florida Keys, the locals are very, very appreciative of it, and the public in general just loves the basic idea of music underwater. Well, there's certain types of music that travel better underwater. Music with a lot of high notes, which is really, really great for me because when I put together the music, I don't have to worry about a particular genre. I can go from classical to jazz to country to pop. It doesn't matter as long as there's lots of high notes. You get to participate in such a manner. You're not just watching it, you are in it. As we've said before, you are literally swimming in the music, and there's nowhere else in the world that you can do that. And the beauty of the reef itself, if you've never been down, it's filled with vibrant colors everywhere. And that's one of the main things that this festival is about, is bringing attention to that reef.
While the festival, located off Big Pine Key, offers a unique experience, its primary purpose is to inform participants and the audience about eco-conscious diving practices and ways you can help protect the Florida Keys reef ecosystem.
It's so important to take advantage of this opportunity with the Underwater Music Festival. The engagement of not only folks from the local community that participate, but also visitors from literally around the world that come to this pretty unique, little bit eclectic festival, this Underwater Music Festival. And it gives us a wonderful opportunity to make sure that the people come, they have a great time, obviously. How can you not have a great time participating in this festival? But we want them also to leave with an enhanced level of understanding of ocean literacy in general, but also very particularly how important it is to think about their interactions with the ocean around them, and the fact that we're all connected no matter where we live in the world. We're all connected to the oceans, and in particular to coral reefs, and to this coral reef right here in the Florida Keys. It's very important because in decades gone by, there wasn't a really full understanding by the broader community, very well-meaning community, about the negative impacts of simple little things like standing on a coral reef, touching coral, taking coral, where to anchor, where not to anchor. All of these things weren't fully understood in decades gone by and had enormous negative impacts on these coral reefs and helped really stress them a great deal, that made them more susceptible to other negative challenges. And now through education, and especially through the Underwater Music Festival, it's a great opportunity for people all around the world to learn the small things that they can do that will have enormous impacts in helping us decrease the negative threats to coral and increase the success rates that we're having with restoration. Our scientists have identified through painstaking research the genotypes that are resilient to increasing water temperature that cause coral bleaching, that are resilient to an increase in ocean acidification that is happening again from climate change and increased CO2 in the atmosphere. The holy grail for us is put us out of the coral restoration business. And the only way we can put us and everyone else that is engaged with coral restoration out of work in that field is to make sure we have restored these coral reefs to a level that they can self-replicate and survive all of the growing threats that they may face in the future, which means science-based approach is absolutely essential to coral restoration to ensure that we have both significant genetic diversity in every single species, so a very methodical science approach to outplanting all of these different genotypes within species, and then multiple different species of coral, and very importantly, restoring the other critical animals that are part of a well-balanced community on a healthy coral reef.
The Florida Keys are truly inspiring. Only the Keys can offer unique ways to promote marine conservation. Diving Key West's Vandenberg and listening to stirring music under the waters off of Big Pine Key, you can't help but feel the ocean's majesty and what to protect it.